Cars and jewels as big as your hand. Dealing cocaine, got all that for a Baltimore kingpin, but now it's all gone. And tomorrow night at 11 o'clock, ABC2, investigators go inside the case of a man the feds call Mr. Big. He lived a high life, bringing in millions of dollars through a drug operation that also brought a ton of cocaine to Baltimore, literally a ton. A DEA agent and her team took down Garnett Smith with a 2-year investigation that turned up proof he thought he had it all along.
We've seized Maybachs, we've seized Lamborghinis, we've seized Aston Martins. In the toolbox at his house, we seized almost $750,000 cash in a toolbox. I mean, they hide it behind TVs and fish tanks. You know, they're very secretive where they hide their money.
Well, tomorrow, after 2020, the agent in charge of the case sits down only with ABC2 News investigators to break down how she brought down Mr. Big, and we'll show you the lavish life he was living before he was put behind bars. You know, working women have to balance a lot of demands, but most of us aren't doing that while tracking down one of Baltimore's biggest known drug dealers. Special Agent Michelle Winkus is. ABC2 News investigator Josie Sturman has the story on how this mom helped take down a multi-million-dollar drug organization with an investigation that took years.
Fancy cars with price tags higher than a house. Gold chains and necklaces with jewels as big as your hand. Luxury condos that rent for $5 grand a month. Dealing drugs can get you all that and more. The downside is you can't keep it.
People see what appears to be the upside of drug dealing, people living the high life, but they don't recognize that's very short-lived.
From swanky penthouse to prison cell, it's not a government scare tactic, it's a true story. The real-life riches to rags tale of one of Baltimore's biggest drug kingpins, a man the feds call Mr. Big.
He's a big guy, he's large, he's physically big and kind of intimidating, but he's also a big cocaine dealer.
One of the biggest in Baltimore, according to the DEA, trading at least 1,000 kilos of coke, tens of millions worth, right in our area. Garnett Smith may have made fortunes dealing cocaine and heroin, but it cost him his freedom.
Guys like this don't come around every day. So when you get someone like this that has been doing it for so long and does it well, it's like a chess game.
And Michelle Winkus is no pawn. In fact, she's the DEA agent who helped bring down Mr. Big.
Kind of came on the periphery of a lot of cases, but he was in nobody's front sight, so to speak.
Smith was able to fly below the radar until a random traffic stop in Arkansas in 2011. State troopers there pulled over a car carrier and found something unbelievable. $2.3 million in cash. It was money with ties to Mr. Big and Baltimore.
When you get something like that, you cannot waste any time.
And time is what DEA agents spent breaking down Big's operation. An investigation that started with a nickname and a phone number spanned 2 years. Agents tracking down Garnett Smith, building a case as he sent drugs and money crisscrossing the country, often hiding it in hidden compartments. They eventually nailed him with $300,000 worth of heroin hidden in this one.
2 years into this, it was time to catch him red-handed.
And the feds did, but what they found after Big's arrest was stunning. It was proof this major drug player was living the high life, from his downtown Baltimore condo to a Virginia co-op and around the world.
He is living lifestyles of the rich and famous. We have pictures of him in Dubai holding a gold brick. Like a solid gold brick.
But back here at home is where agents hit pay dirt for their case. Inside this Gambril's townhouse, they seized more than $740,000 in cash, nearly $500,000 worth of jewelry. Other homes turned up $250 grand worth of high-end shoes, $500,000 worth of designer clothes from Gucci and Louis Vuitton, and cars, Maybachs, Lamborghinis, and an Aston Martin. But none of it belongs to Garnett Smith anymore. He lost it all in an instant. It's now official property of the U.S. government.
For a quarter of a century or more, Mr. Smith's going to spend his life in a concrete cell, and it just isn't worth it. You know, that brief period driving a fancy car, wearing expensive jewelry, he's going to pay for it for the rest of his life.
But years of investigation were worth it to Special Agent Winkus and the DEA. Their Mr. Big is now behind bars, and their team is ready to take down anyone in his wake.
If there are people out there looking to step up to take this guy's place, they need to beware because we're going to be coming after them.
In Baltimore, Josie Sturman, ABC 2 News.
Well, 44-year-old Garnett Smith pleaded guilty to charges in his drug case, but his sentencing was just yesterday. So he apologized and said he's not the type of person he was depicted to be, calling himself a work in progress. But Mr. Big was given 25 years in federal prison, which means he'll be close to 70 years old when he gets out. And as for the things Smith acquired with all that money, those items will eventually be put up for auction by the federal government.